Does that surprise you at all that the Blue Jays will not go more than 1 year with Jose Bautista and they're sticking to the qualifying offer thing?
I mean, I don't even think the qualifying offer thing is happening. I don't believe that, I know that the Blue Jays did offer, they'd have that on the table for a little bit, but I don't think they do anymore. I think that the Blue Jays, right or wrong, have moved beyond Jose Bautista, which, for me is too bad because I think he's a franchise guy, and I think that he remains a great fit for what they need. But the Blue Jays, I believe, are moving on.
So what were they talking about with his agents then? They were just, chit-chatting? Like, I don't understand.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you heard the Blair show on Thursday or not, our last show at the winter meetings, Jay Alou and Ross Atkins were about 20 feet away from us talking for a good half hour. It was a pretty animated conversation. I don't think it was like an angry conversation or anything like that, but it was definitely an animated conversation. I think that I don't know if it's Bautista trying to convince them or if it's them trying to convince him or if they're just keeping the lines of communication open or if they're talking about Chris Iannetta.
Making a fantasy football trade? Who knows?
Yeah, it could be. Could be all that stuff. But look, like it or not, the Blue Jays appear to have $25 to $30 million of payroll room left.
Mm-hmm.
And people can scream and shout about that, and that's totally fine. I mean, if you want ownership to spend more money, look, every fan base wants its ownership to spend more money. That's certainly not the key to winning. I mean, the Blue Jays were beaten in the ALCS by a team with an $80 million payroll last year. But if you want them to spend more money, you want them to spend more money. Mark Shapiro has been given a payroll, and he's got to work within that. And with only $25 to $30 million left to spend, there's certainly no room for Jose Bautista at more than the qualifying offer. And with all the holes they need to fill, I think that the move, once your plan A, which was Dexter Fowler, was gone, then you spread that money around to fill as many holes as you can.
How do you do it then? Like, do you keep checking in? Because you got sources. You got some good sources, only the best sources. Everybody has sources, and they're constantly checking in, I guess. But, how long could this take? How long will it take for the Blue Jays to fill out their 25-man roster, their projected corner outfield starters? Like, is it going to be a January thing? Pitchers and catchers report mid-February. When do you expect this to come to fruition?
There's no rush. There really isn't. As long as there are so many people still out there who are pretty similar, you can wait. And I understand that it's frustrating that people want it to be done already, that, you talk about the barrage of tweets. Last night, I saw at least a half a dozen tweets saying to me, the way the Blue Jays are set up right now, well, who cares how they're set up right now? We still have 4 months until there's baseball.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. And I know that, people want to talk about, the starting outfield looks terrible and all that. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. They're clearly not finished putting this team together. And so long as there remain several similar options, they're going to wait, I would think, and see. But you know what? When Edwin turned down their 4-year, $80 million offer, they moved very quickly to sign Kendrys Morales. And then a little less quickly to sign Steve Pearce. But they signed him, and those two were the quote-unquote replacements for Edwin. Now Pearce may wind up playing a little more, and Morales is going to play every day. But they moved quickly on Morales. That, may have been as much of a misread of the market as Edwin turning down the offer was a misread of the market too, because who knows what would have gone on with Kendrys, but it feels like he's the kind of guy who would sort of still be out there waiting. But 3 years at 33 is not bad. I mean, maybe they might have been able to get him for 2 and 22 had they waited. And we'll see what that looks like in 2019. But yeah, as long as there are still a bunch of non-Jansen, Chapman, Melanson relievers out there, and as long as there are still a bunch of similar outfielders out there, there is no rush to get this done.